Hello, good morning. Ali Benjamin here, and I'm back in Utah. Where are you? Where are you watching from? Here in Farmington. It is a beautiful day. The sun is out, but it's cool. We've had storms and rain. And how about you? Where are you? What's the weather like? Are you hot? Are you cool? Are you somewhere in between? In the Goldilocks zone, just right? I'd love to hear from you. So glad that you're here today. I'm so happy to be here today. Hey, Sandy, let me know where you are, what you're up to. How's the weather? Are you overheated? Are you too cold? Good to see you. So nice to see you. Hi, Michael. Wow, another Sunday. The Sundays just spin around so quickly. Just a week ago, I was way overheated in the desert in Joshua Tree. And then we actually went on a little vacation and spent a few days in Las Vegas. And that was extra hot too. So that's what inspired my talk title today, which is Out of the Heat and Into the Shade. Out of the heat and into the shade. So we're waiting for a few people to jump on. And while we do, I'd love to know where you are. Where are you? What are you up to? How's the weather? How's your summer going? There's Sandy. She's in Brigham City. There's Michael in Farmington. Hello, you two. I'm going to play this little song. So here we go. Free my mind, open my heart with the whispers of truth to live a conscious life. And welcome. Welcome wherever you are. I'm Ali Benjamin, and this is Growing Edge Live. We gather here every Sunday and have done for years and years. And if you're new, welcome. You didn't stumble across this live by accident. You're here on purpose. What's that purpose? I don't know, but something inside you does. Something inside you inspired you to just pause a moment and check this out. And I hope today, as I share some insights, some downloads I've been having, I hope something I say or something is stirred within you that supports you on your path, your life path, your spiritual evolution, because that's what we're all about here at the Growing Edge. We hear about conscious spiritual evolution. And so if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to post those or contact me directly if you want to have more information or get some support from one of our spiritual practitioners. We are here and ready to support you in whatever is going on in your life, whether you're struggling, whether you're having an issue, a health challenge, or some other issue that's causing you grief. We're here. If you're working on an amazing project or something in your life, a goal, a vision, a dream, and you'd like to support with that, we're here. We're here for you. So go ahead and drop a note below or contact me directly, and I'll get you connected with someone that will support you. So welcome. I'm Ali Benjamin. I'm here in Farmington, Utah, and this is Growing Edge Live, inspired by Satya, which is a nonprofit spiritual online community. You can go to our website, satyalive.org. If you would like to know more about us, you can do that. So let's start with a little close the eyes and a grounding breath, a sacred breath. Connecting to this moment, nowhere to go, nothing else to do, simply be here now. Be here in your own energy. Be here in the center of life, right where you are. And as you connect and ground and root yourself in this moment, trust and know that for the next 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes, we're in this thing together, that you're not alone, that you're supported not only by this community, this group of people, but by the principles that will be shared today, the universal spiritual principles that will be shared today that will support you in remembering who you really are and why you're here and what you truly value, what's important. And so as we take another breath and exhale, just settle into life right here and open the eyes. Oh, there's my sister Juliet. Mwah. Good morning. So I picked this title, Out of the Heat and Into the Shade, because I have been traveling for the last week. I went to Joshua Tree, which is in California, very hot. And I went to Las Vegas for a few days, Nevada, very hot. Luckily, we had some thunderstorms and rainstorms, and so it cooled down. But it gave me the thought of the relief I get when I'm in the heat, the blazing heat, and then I step into the shade. There's a certain level of relief and comfort, and I have a preference. When it's a scorching day, I have a preference to be in the shade. I might go under an umbrella. I might wear a hat. I might put some sunglasses on. I might cover up so my skin isn't exposed. So there's this physical reality to preferring the shade. Now, spiritually speaking, and this is kind of a paradox, we talk about staying in the light and staying out of the darkness, which could be the shade. And so this is a bit of a paradox on what I usually talk about in reference to light and dark. In my talk today, the shade is actually the preferred state, where the heat or the blazing light is not so desirable. But you can spin it both ways, whatever works for you. So I found myself, and often I do, in the heat, not just the physical heat, but the emotional heat and the mental heat. And another way I like to think of this or term it is I feel triggered. I feel upset about something that's going on in my life or somebody that's upsetting me, or I'm upsetting somebody else. And so when I experience this, I like to think of this. Well, actually, I don't like to think of it at all, but I feel heated up. I feel triggered. I feel annoyed. I can feel angry, or I can feel fearful. I can get really judgmental. I can get really in my head about things. I can make up a lot of stories. I have a lot of opinions and judgments. And this isn't a good place to be. I've been on this path of self-discovery since I was in my 20s, and I just turned 60, so it's been a while. And I've had a lot of experience with these ups and downs, the light, the dark, being in the heat of things and being cool in the shade of things. And so today I want to give you some wisdom that I've gleaned along the way of how to stay in the shade when you're feeling overheated or triggered by something or somebody. And so I've come up with an acronym, and yeah, I'm kind of famous for these in my little corner of the playground. I've kind of come up with the acronym of SHADE. And shade, I've taken each letter of the word shade, and I'm going to go a little bit deeper into each word that I've associated with the word shade. So S stands for soften. So when I get triggered, when you get triggered, you might want to just take a moment to stop and think about the word shade. And the word S stands for soften. So when I'm triggered, when I'm in the heat of things, I can move into the shade and I can soften and relax and just ease up and be easy with myself. And so in this way, I think of the word softening. just saying that word, I sort of want to move the cushion behind me and just kind of soften into where I'm sitting. And we can do that when we get triggered. And this sort of brings us into a greater sense of ease. We move out of, when we're triggered, quite often, our ego gets like really at the forefront, and our focus of attention can become really narrow, and we can become really focused on the person or the issue or the problem that our ego is creating a story about. So moving into the shade, we simply soften, we relax, we go easy in the world. It may not be as easy as I'm making it sound, and it could be, but I think as you explore this acronym of SHADE, you'll find that it gets easier and easier. It's one of those things. It's like working out. You have to actually work out and use those muscles in order for them to get strong. And so we have to use this muscle of stopping when we get triggered or overheated and moving into the shade by softening, by relaxing, by going easy. So the second word, or two words, are the word from the letter H, and the letter H stands for heart-centered. So again, when I'm triggered, when I'm overheated, I go into the heart center. I go down from my head where I've got a lot of anxiety and mental turmoil, and I move down into the heart. And just that knowing that I can take that little invisible elevator from the head down into the heart and just stay in that heart-centered space, that's the place where I feel most connected to my spirit, to my soul. So we go into the soul, we're heart-centered into our soul. And then the third letter, A, S-H-A, stands for aligned. So when we're triggered, when we're overheated, we soften, we relax, we go easy, we stay heart-centered, centered in our soul, and we remember to align with our values. What is it that's truly most important to you? And when we bring our values to mind, then it's easier to stay centered and focused in who you really are. Your soul, your essence, has some core values. And I lead my clients through an exercise to help identify those values, those core soul values. Mine are connection and freedom. It's kind of a two ends of a spectrum there. Connection, I love connection with my close loved ones, my family, my friends, and I love freedom. I love to be free from being tied down or limited or restricted. So it's a both and. I like connection and I like freedom. So what are your values? When we're softened and heart-centered and then aligned with our values, then it's as though whatever has been occurring that's got us all heated up sort of becomes a little not as close. We have a little distance between us and it, whatever it is, and we become more aligned with who we really are as a soulful being, our soulful self. So we align with our values, and then the next letter is D, and for D I chose deeply rooted. So we get deeply rooted into the oneness. We feel really connected, rooted in the wholeness of life. And so as we remember this, then we're not so self-focused. We begin to see that whatever this story is, whatever this annoyance might be, whatever this disturbance in our life is, it's small compared to the wholeness of life. It's transitory. It comes and it goes. When we are deeply rooted in oneness, when we're deeply connected to the wholeness of life, we're not so fixed and small and tight. We become more relaxed into the bigger picture. And so as we get deeply rooted in our oneness, then it gives us a greater sense of shade or coolness or calm that we feel as we move out of the heat and into the shade. And then the last letter, E, I've chosen the words emotionally free. And so emotionally free is associated to the stories that we create, the stories that we create about our own life, about what's happening, about the person that we're struggling with, or the situation that we're struggling with, the thing that's got us overheated or triggered. We as humans, we seem to develop stories about that. We start to gather evidence as to why this person is wrong or why this situation shouldn't be happening. So in this very human habit of creating stories about things, we get emotionally invested and we get emotionally triggered, and then we start to feel sad, frustrated, fearful, angry, whatever it is. And so I've chosen emotionally free because that's really what we're going for in life. We want to be emotionally free of all the stories, true or false, made up or real. We can develop a perspective and a distance from those stories so that we can feel really free in our own creative adventure that we're on. Because really, once we wake up to who we really are, we realize that we're free. We're free to live the life that we want to live. We're free to choose who we spend our time with, and what we want to do in our life, what we want to spend our time and invest our energy in. And so we can ask ourselves, when we're finding ourselves emotionally triggered and really boiling over or angry or heated up by something or someone, we can ask ourselves, am I believing somebody else's story? Am I so far away from my own essence, my own truth, my own values, my own inner wisdom? Am I believing what that other person is saying? Am I buying into or being drawn into someone else's story that may or may not be true? So when we do a little investigating, when we ask ourselves, is this story even true? Is this thought even true? Is what that person's saying true? Does it really relate to me? Or am I picking up something somebody else is projecting onto me? I had the thought just recently, I came across someone that was a family member that was really angry. And somewhere in my mind, I assigned this anger to me. Like, that person's angry at me. But when I really took some time to look at this, I dropped the me and I found greater truth in the statement that that person was just angry. And I stopped assigning their anger to myself. And in this way, it gave me more room and more space to move forward in the conversation, to move forward in our relationship in a more centered in truth way, in a way that I felt less invested in the idea that somehow I was at fault here. And I allowed that person to be angry just because they were angry. They were angry because they were believing thoughts, or they were conjuring up a story about whatever, about the situation, about me, that's their version of the story. That's true for them. And so that's how it is with us humans. We conjure up stories about things. We make things up, some of them true, based on facts, some of it just based on our own fears and doubts and insecurities. So my question to you is, what stories are you conjuring up? What in those stories are true and what isn't so true? What things are you believing that other people are laying down or projecting on you that may not be true, that may not be yours? Because you're a sovereign being. You get to decide who you are, what you give your energy and attention to, What's going to delight you and what's going to upset you? You get to decide that. You get to create a life that brings you the most joy and peace and meaning and love that you want. That's your job. That's my job. We're each sovereign. We're responsible for creating our own life and staying aligned with the stories that turn us on, the stories that light us up, the stories that keep us relaxed and chill in the shade. So, this is some little pearls of wisdom that have bubbled up for me today. And I hope this download has supported you wherever you are in your life. If you're feeling triggered or overheated, remember to stand in the shade. Just take a step over. Move out of the limelight. Move out of the sun into the shade. Soften, relaxed, go easy. Stay centered in your heart. Drop down from that story creator, the head, and drop down into the heart, that space of love and soul and depth. Align with what's most important to you, what you value most in life, and stay centered in that. And make sure all of your decisions align with your values, because this life is about you. It's about no one else. Well, there are some supporting characters that are very important for all of us, but it's primarily your job to organize the central character, which is you. So that means that you get to organize your thoughts, you get to organize your actions and have them line up with your core values, your visions. And so you move into the shade by softening, being heart-centered, being aligned with your values and what's most important. Then you deeply root, you ground into the oneness, you connect with the wholeness of life, and know that there's abundance here for you. There's abundance here for all of us. That there's nothing that's limiting us from having a rich, full, abundant, prosperous, love-filled, joy-filled life. And so we stay deeply rooted in that, maintain our connection to the abundance of life. And then we end up being emotionally free, free of the stories, free of the thoughts that cause us to be stressed out. We just drop that disempowered thinking and we take on emotionally enriching, enhancing thoughts that really set us free. So peace and blessings to you. Let's do a little activation meditation. Close the outer eyes and take a breath and drop down into the heart and expand the field of love. And now drop down into the gut, expand the roots and feeling connected. And as you stay here for a moment, open-hearted, grounded, connected into the wholeness of life, get a sense of what's possible for you. Get a sense of being relaxed and chill in the shade, knowing that it's a choice. You move out of the heat and into the shade, and it's in the shade that we get a little respite, and we relax and connect with our soulful self. And we gather our energies and we gather our wisdom. We tap into our intuition and we move forward in our world, having strong, healthy relationships, spreading our love and our joy and our kindness everywhere we go. And so we receive this wisdom, these blessings, and we say, thank you, life. Thank you. May all beings experience this freedom, this shade, this softening, this heart-centeredness, this deep-rooted oneness, and the emotional freedom that is here for all of us when we wake up to who we truly are. May all beings experience this now and always and in all ways. For this we are all blessed. For this we are all grateful. And so it is. Namaste, peace and blessings, love to you. Stay in the shade, move out of the heat, and enjoy yourself. Love moves me forward, light illumines me from the inside out, and joy guides me every step of the way. Peace and blessings. Bye-bye.